Hello and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. So in today's video, we are going to discuss an important news which is running into current affairs is the dependency of India's trade on China. ठीक है? Why are we discussing about this? Because of several reasons. एक तो there is a fresh wave of anti-dumping duty which has been imposed by not only India but US also, European economy also. They have imposed it against China. So what is the anti-dumping duty that is imposed by these countries? Anti-dumping matlab while producing in your domestic economy, you have given some kind of subsidy, ठीक है? And the poor quality goods you are dumping in my country, so we call this, so we will be imposing some kind of tax against such kind of goods which you are dumping in my country. We call this as an anti-dumping duty, ठीक है? So why is it running into news? As we discussed, first of all, there is a fresh wave of anti-dumping duty imposed by by India as well as European economy against China on which kind of products? Majorly plastic processing machines and stainless steel pipes. ठीक है? On all of these two goods, there is a anti-dumping duty. But there is one more reason to this. There is a report which says कि China's presence in India's manufacturing sector, industrial goods sector, ठीक है? China's share in India's industrial goods sector that has increased from 21% to 30%. So that means China is currently having a large chunk, control over large chunk of India's manufacturing sector, ठीक है? In terms of production. We are discussing this also because of one of the news which was running in current affairs last week, that is a report from Asia Power Index report by the name Asia Power Index report, which says that India is third most influential power within Asia, but India is heavily dependent on China. If we talk about on which all countries India is dependent, rank 1 is held by China, ठीक है? Plus the goods that we are majorly importing from China are those goods in which MSME sectors are controlling the production in India. So we are importing, let's say, majorly, we are all importing, let's say, plastic goods, toys. So these could have been produced by the MSME sector. I do agree, electronics manufacturing cannot be carried out by MSME. या फिर steel production cannot be carried out by MSMEs. But there is a huge chunk of import that we are carrying out from China, which can be replaced by the MSME production in India. ठीक है? And third important pointer to note here is, this is a good news, कि fertilizer imports have reduced. We were earlier heavily dependent on fertilizer imports from China, but this dependency has reduced. ठीक है? So here we have a graph which is analyzing this data about India and some of the countries nearby. ठीक है? How much is the increase or decrease or no change in their imports from China as compared to 2011 and 2021. So how much they were importing from China in 2011 and how much they are importing from China in 2021, whether the countries have increased their imports or decreased their imports or there is no change, this we are analyzing. ठीक है? So this is the analysis of all the countries which with respect to only China. ठीक है? With respect to USA, there is almost no change at all. Because if you remember, during the regime of Donald Trump, he made sure by stating this fact that US is carrying out a decoupling from China. We are trying to de-link from China. So our dependency from China, we are trying to curb down. So इसलिए भी there was almost no change from 2011 to 21. ठीक है? But see, Russia, drastic increase. Pakistan, largest increase, one of the largest increase, ठीक है? India में भी the imports have increased, ठीक है? 12% of manufacturing we were importing from China in 2011 and 15.3% we were importing in 2021, ठीक है? So is the case with Sri Lanka, ठीक है? Sri Lanka maybe there has been increase in the imports. Brazil maybe there is an increase. So more or less all the countries have witnessed increase. India may the increase is relatively meager. UK may the increase is relatively meager and USA may there is almost no change. So this gives us this fact कि why Quad countries are going anti-China. or Mineral Securities Partnership या Supply Chain Resilience Initiative या India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor में we have major contribution from West, that is US and European nations and India, that all of these countries are trying to reduce their dependency on China. ठीक है? Talking about the China shock. ठीक है? So all of this is basically known as the China shock. What is the meaning of China shock? China shock basically means that there will be 1 or 2 years wherein there will be a sudden surge in Chinese goods all over the world. Suddenly, for a period of 5-6 years, you will start to find Chinese goods manufactured in China, made in China, made in China, made in China, all the goods being made in China only, majorly. ठीक है? So this is the meaning of China shock. Okay. But what is the consequence to this? Let's say Chinese goods are flooding into your market. That means the demand for your goods starts to reduce. That means this will lead to not only unemployment and unemployment related consequences. GDP will fall, your manufacturing will fall. Okay. So overall, there will be a sluggish growth if there is excessive Chinese goods or foreign goods entering into your market. Okay. China shock 1.2 was witnessed when China joined the World Trade Organization, and this was also a deliberate measure which US later on understood, thinking US was the one who was negotiating that China should enter World Trade Organization. The intention was, if China enters World Trade Organization, I will flood my goods into Chinese market. Okay? But they were not knowing that there can be a reverse repercussion to this. China can also flood their goods into other countries' market. So China shock 1.2 was observed when China had entered World Trade Organization, and this is the phase wherein we are witnessing China shock 2.0. Okay? Indian sector is facing Chinese import surge, and the sector specifically that is facing surge is the renewable sector, although we must also keep in mind कि installed capacity में renewable sector में India is 4th largest. So we do have imported a huge amount of products from China. We have installed this, but this is not currently running. So we have, because we have already imported huge amount of renewable energy ka production material from China, so this is facing Chinese import surge. ठीक है? Secondly, steel, in which India is a net exporter. We are a net exporter. Despite of this fact, past 10 years, 15 years में we have seen a surge of Chinese import in this sector. And third important sector is the electronics component. Electronics component में problem ये कि semiconductor chip manufacturing India is not carrying out. तो इसलिए we need to depend upon the Chinese goods for import. ठीक है? Here is the graph which is depicting China's share of global exports, which has increased post pandemic. After the COVID-19, that's why we said that we are living into the age of China shock 2.0, in which you can suddenly see in all the countries of the world that Chinese goods are more dominating the market. Okay? You see the share of the country's share in the global exports, okay, which has reduced for majority of the countries. European Union के other countries के लिए there is a meager increase, but see the increase of China, see the increase of Chinese presence in the export, in the global trade in terms of export. This is the maximum in case of China. ठीक है? Latin America side has increased because of the discovery of lithium. Lithium की वजह से Latin America has started to gain importance. ठीक है? So now let us understand this fact, reasons कि why are we experiencing an increased import. What are the goods? First of all, let's discuss what are the goods that we are importing from China. That includes electronics, telecom, electrical products, machinery, textile, chemical and pharma. We know that API, active pharmaceutical ingredients, we are importing from China. ठीक है? Automobiles we are importing from China. So, and these sectors are those sectors in which India is witnessing maximum amount of import from only Chinese goods. ठीक है? China's share in imports is approximately 44%, close to 50% in electronics, telecom and electrical products. ठीक है? So what are the factors to this? What are the factors to this? First major factor is the predatory pricing. What is predatory pricing? The predatory pricing basically means that I will reduce the prices so that more and more people buy my products. Once I am able to reach to every consumer market, then I will try to surge the prices. This is called as the predatory pricing. So China is also carrying out this measure in which it is trying to curb down the prices, okay? And it is able to ensure, it is trying to ensure that it is reaching every hand. Once it reaches every hand, then it will try to surge the prices, okay? This is the predatory pricing which China currently is making use of. Second is China is trying to divert the attention of the public. Currently, China itself is suffering from an economic slowdown, okay? Crisis of property, weak credit and low consumer demand. So to tackle with the current economic issues within China, it is trying to surge its export so as to ensure that money keeps flowing into the market. Okay? Third important reason is dominance on global supply chain. They already genuinely have good amount of critical and rare earth minerals. So that is also giving them an upper hand and advantage that they are able to reach till the they are currently the node of global supply chain worldwide. Okay. Plus, because they have been able to provide with cheap and cheap labor, they have been able to provide with good industrial conditions, industries to breed, good conditions for industries to breed. So that is also one of the reasons China is able to dominate the global supply chain market. And then we have, these are the advantages of China. Then we have the disadvantage of India. हमारे पास भी capacity कम है. We are not manufacturing electronics, so we need to buy it from somewhere. We are buying it from China because China is providing it at cheaper rate. ठीक है? Or technology and innovation gap that India is suffering. India does not have skilled labor. We do not have sufficient technology. We lack in innovation, because of which we are not able to develop, and that is why we are depending upon China. ठीक है? Now talking about इससे होगा क्या? What is the repercussion of such kind of situation? First major implication is the goods that we are importing from China. ठीक है? These are those goods which we are not importing from any other country. इससे एक सिक्योरिटी का इश्यू हो जाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल गुड्स का डिपेंडेंसी, द गुड्स, फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी डिस्कस इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, 45% of electronic goods that are being consumed in India is bought from Chinese market. That means it will question the national security. What if they are putting up some kind of chip to control or to monitor the movement, public movement, consumer demand in India? ठीक है? Plus it also leads to inflation, because these are those goods which is not replaceable. ठीक है? These are those goods which is the demand of the public. We need electronics, we need electrical components, and we do not have a replacement. If China doesn't supply, we are not having supply from any other line. ठीक है? So this has created problems that have led to inflation. Plus the another major thing to note here was कि initially the imports that India was doing from China was the demand which was being created by Indian companies in India. But now we have allowed Chinese company also to settle in India, and Chinese company will obviously prefer Chinese goods. So there is about, we have so far whatever be the surge in imports, it is about to increase, because earlier the imports were being made by the Indian firms, but now Chinese firms have started creating the demand. Obviously they will be heading towards their home country. ठीक है? So what is the solution to this? Obviously if we know the problems, we know the solution also. Technology problem hai, we need to upskill. Research gap problem hai, we need to carry out research. ठीक है? We need to focus on industry 4.0 in manufacturing. We need to include artificial intelligence and internet of things in manufacturing sector, so that we can increase our manufacturing sector overall. ठीक है? Second is promotion of export oriented manufacturing. अभी हमारा export competitiveness is not very strong. We need to improve our export sector. Export oriented manufacturing करने की ज़रूरत है. For example, we need to increase the availability of SEZs or deal with the problems persistent with SEZs. SEZs are suffering from certain kind of issues. We need to resolve the issue so that we will be able to increase our exports. ठीक है? And thirdly, increase overall export competitiveness. Overall export competitiveness should also be increased and improved. ठीक है? Upskilling and all that, these are also some of the steps that can be taken, in which government has already started taking steps. ठीक है? So with this we come to the end of this topic. If you have any doubt, please do let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much.